What's up, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of College Basketball Countdown. I am your host, the big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau. It is Saturday, February 10th, 2024, and we've got over 150 college basketball games to set the stage for Super Bowl weekend. The Super Bowl commences tomorrow in Las Vegas. Before we get to that, though, we got a mountain full of basketball, and we're going to break down all sorts of games, a bunch of games. We're going to take your questions. We're going to get involved with the chat as usual. And we're going to try to find a couple of winners here to make us some scratch before the Super Bowl. I hope you're all having a great day. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Nadeau. And I want to shout out all of you. Thank you for listening. Please make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to Pub Sports Radio. Make sure you become a member. Support everything going on here. I appreciate all of you for joining me on a Saturday. I would ask one thing from you. If you ask me about a game when I ask, just please include the opponent, as much information as you can, the line. There's a lot of games. It's hard for me to go and just kind of comb through all this stuff. So let's do it. Let's shout out a couple of people. Razor Sharp Picks, my man. What's up, brother? Razor Sharp Picks, one of the best horse handicappers there is. Go check out his channel, please. I know all of you guys know about Razor Sharp Picks. Him and I cashed on some really nice pick 4 and pick 5s. I'll tell you what, Razor, yesterday hit a Gulfstream and I hit a late pick 4 at Penn National. I actually got a all in the final race and a nice price came in. So it was a good day for me. I hope it was for you. Kelly McInnes, Justin, Rockhead, Steve, Julian, Kingu, Billy, Big T, Real Deal Prime, Martin, Ian, Michael, Jay Smooth. What up? Thank you for watching. Let's do it. Let's get into it. I want to start with 5 games that I think are interesting. Let's start it out at the top of really the card. I believe this game goes at 1 o'clock Eastern. This game's kind of off the beaten path, but I like to include that sort of thing when we do these things. The Samford Bulldogs are headed on the road to take on VMI, Virginia Military Institute. Now, what is interesting about this game, it opened 18, got bet up to 18.5, and it's now up to 19.5. Now, I don't think that's a huge issue here. I think the thought is, do you think Samford's going to run them out of the building? Now, it's rare that you lay this type of number in conference. However, if you're going to do it, Samford's probably the team you want to do it with. And VMI is one of the team you want to do it against. This Samford team, folks, is really good. In fact, they're probably a top 10 offense that you don't know about. They go incredibly deep. They play incredibly fast, and they're really efficient. You look at the first time these two teams played, and it was one of the most unbelievable defensive performances or offensive performances you ever see. Samford had 134 points and scored 1.4 points per possession, which is about the highest that scale goes. I mean, it was an unbelievable performance. And why is that? Because VMI plays the second fastest tempo in America. It is hard to defend when you play that fast. And it's a layup line a lot of the time for a team. Look, Samford, I thought, played really well in the second half against Greensboro. They really shut that group down in the second half. And this is a team that has, on the regular, taken care of opponents. Now, I think a lot of people say, well, recently, VMI has been a little bit better defensively. I don't know. I mean, they gave up 77 against Western Carolina, 85 against – wait, hold on a second. They gave up 102 to Western Carolina. Give up 85 to Greensboro, 90 to Mercer, and 88 to Chattanooga. So I'm not really sure, Craig Wood. They've always stopped playing defense. I don't think they ever played defense, Craig Wood. This is a bad defensive team. They've been a bad defensive team all season, and I think we could make the case that this is one of the worst defenses in America. This group regularly allows 90+. And as I said in the first game, they allowed 134. That's about as bad a defensive performance as you're going to get. Now, for anyone that's curious, Samford has been good as a favorite. I believe they've covered like 10 of 15 this year. laying points. I just want to check in on the team total here. 95.5. So it is high. I don't think I have much issue laying the number. I've noticed that Samford's been a lot better defensively recently. I thought they did a really nice job the other night against Greensboro. I think this is like a 95-70 type of game. I think Samford lays it to VMI. And this has been a good team really at every level, on the road, at home. Bulldogs really well coached under Bucky McMillan. I'm gonna look towards laying the number here in this one. Now, do me a favor, guys. Again, feel free to comment on my thoughts on these games, your thoughts on these games. And feel free to drop any games you might have some interest in. I will get to that at the end here, and we'll kind of make that announcement again. I really like the over in this game. VMI gives up a lot of points. Yeah, they do. I just wonder, does Samford really clamp down defensively? Again, they've done a nice job recently, at least for them, defensively. Last two games, they've allowed 69 of 56. Also allowed just 72 to Tennessee State or East Tennessee State. This team has kind of figured it out defensively recently. I'm going to just look towards laying the number and hoping that Samford win by 20 plus. All right, the next game, Green Bay and Youngstown. Don't look now, but Green Bay is one of the best teams in the Horizon League. This is a weird conference. We see every year a random team finds its way to March, and it could just be Green Bay, coached by Sundance Wicks. Yes, their coach's name is Sundance Wicks, one of the best coaching names in the country. And we look into how Green Bay's been able to do this 11-3 run in conference, 16-9 overall. What they do is they're good in the half court offensively, and they go very slow, very slow. One of the slowest tempos in the country, really bog you down and say, we're not going to let you run. And you look at what they've been able to do against those types of teams in this conference. Beat Wright State, a team that want to play a mile a minute. Beat Oakland, that want to play fast. This is a team that says, we know that Youngstown, Wright State, Oakland all want to play up and down. We're not going to let them do that. We're going to try to take this game to a crawl. That's what South Carolina has been able to do to teams. They go and they say, well, we know Tennessee and Kentucky want to go in transition. We're not going to let them play in transition. And they've been able to pull upsets. Now, Youngstown, I got to tell you, I had a double take when I saw this number at 10. I like Youngstown. I think offensively they're really good under Jared Calhoun. They have a bunch of shot makers. But they're hard to back laying a double-digit number due to the fact that they just don't defend anybody. I mean, this team regularly is engaged in high-scoring games, 82-78, 93-85. And I'll point out the game the other night against Milwaukee. I mean, they just had one of those perfect overtimes, but they allowed Milwaukee to hang in that game because they couldn't get stops. They were up 7 with about 2 minutes to go. The game went to overtime and pushed the number over the total. Youngstown is just back and forth. They play a lot of high-scoring games, and this is a game against Green Bay, who I think kind of can throw kind of a fly in the ointment here for Youngstown, especially a Youngstown team that I feel like if you can keep them out of transition, make them operate in half court, force them into some jump shots and three-point opportunities, they're not a real good shooting team. This team wants to go and kind of, again, play in transition, which I don't know that they're going to be able to do here. I thought 10 was too high. It could be a sucker bet, but I buy Green Bay. I thought the other night against Robert Morris, that was a stub-your-toe spot. They were able to check that box. This is a group that, like I said, beat Wright State. They beat Cleveland State. Beat Wright State twice. This is a damn good Green Bay team. And I'm going to hope that they can stay in this game from the free throw line. And, again, they have been really good on offense. I didn't understand this number at all. I don't know why it went up from 9.5 to 10. Maybe Youngstown just blitzes them here and they don't know how to keep up. I don't see it, though. I think this is a really solid dog. I mean, look, Youngstown's a decent home court advantage. Call me crazy. I'd put this number at 5. I think this number is crazy. So we'll see. It could be again, Youngstown just blitzes them and wins, 81-72 or something. But I think Green Bay does a nice job here. I think they kind of take them out of the game. And another thing that's really underrated about a team, this is something you want to look at, guys, when you get into conference play closer to March. Defensive rebound percentage. That's super important. Is there anything more irritating than a team that can't get a fucking rebound on defense? It's irritating because anytime a team gets an offensive rebound, they always seem to score, don't they? Green Bay, number one in the conference in that. So I think for me, and look, I think it's correlated here. I think if you like Green Bay, you take the under. If you like Youngstown, you probably lean over. But I thought this number was just a little too high. Look, if this game's like an 81-71 type of game, I think Green Bay will lose. They need to keep this game 75-66, around that, more like that, as opposed to letting Youngstown get into the 80s. That's not the game they want to play here. So I'm going to lean Green Bay here, grabbing the 10. I thought it was just a little too high. Craig Wood, road Green Bay, not the same as, yeah, listen, I agree. I don't think no team is great on the road. I'm not running to back road teams. Again, I had this number at 5, so it's high to me. Martin Jordan said, you hit last week. Do you have another 3-team money line parlay? DraftKings is offering me another boost. Well, yes, we'll keep abreast to that, Martin, and we'll give you a good one for sure. Well, here's, to be fair, the next game. I think one of the teams you should include in that is Houston. I think Houston gets the job done here today. I think they win, and I think they cover. I've noticed with Houston the last 2 games. Let's go back to the last 2 games for Houston. Got completely blitzed at Kansas. We all saw that game last Saturday. Kansas couldn't miss. They would have beat the Dream Team that day. Would they shoot 70% from 2? I mean, that just doesn't happen. It's crazy. Houston got blitzed. That never happens. You also looked the other night against Oklahoma State, which, look, I got to tell you, I've not been good the last couple of weeks personally in college hoops. Oklahoma State scores 21 in the first half and 42 in the second half. Just a completely ridiculous game. Oklahoma State shot, I think, 40 free throws. Like, just, again, another just rough beat, I felt like. We've seen some weird things recently with Houston, but I don't think that they're long-term. I think the biggest thing as a gambler you have to remember is you can't just jump off a team because they don't play well for a game or 2. I still believe this is the best Houston defense in the country. And I think they are relentless defensively. They're very difficult to deal with. And we've talked about how they defend. Opponent walks the court to the half-court line, and they are immediately swarmed by a guard and a big. And what they do is they elicit a line of scrimmage between them and the ball handler, and they trap them aggressively. And what the ball handler is going to do is they're going to look to outlet it, throw it down towards the rim, and people are going to jump into passing lanes, and they turn you over like crazy. They did it against Kansas. Kansas struggled, at least in the half court. They were turning it over. They were just able to get out, and they made a bunch of threes. But that's how they want to operate. I'm always going to throw into the fact that Cincinnati, 12th in the Big 12 in turnover percentage. This team's really had issues at the point guard position. That concerns me here. Throw in the fact that Cincinnati really does nothing well on offense. This is a bad shooting team. This is a bad free throw shooting team. And look, for a team in Cincinnati that really tries to just hit the glass and create easy opportunities, not going to be something you're going to be able to do against Houston. I mean, Houston's always an elite rebounding team. I just feel like this is a really difficult matchup for them. And Cincinnati, I just don't think you're going to be able to operate and do some of the things that they've always wanted to do. Again, this has not been a good offensive team all season. Look, I think the under probably makes sense. I was surprised to see this number go from 127.5 all the way up to 131. I guess people are just in belief that there's going to be a bunch of free throws again, like Houston games are. But I had a real issue with Cincinnati here. I thought this was a tough spot for them. We've also seen Houston. I mean, they've had some nice road performances. I mean, they went on the road and beat BYU, went on the road and beat Texas. In a game that was really tough. Went on the road, beat Xavier this year. Had all those neutral court wins at the beginning of the season. So I'm going to lay it with Houston here. I think it's a rough matchup for Cincinnati. This is kind of a, hey, welcome, to the Big 12. Now you get a relentless team. And you look at last year. Houston beat Cincinnati in the AAC 72-59, 75-69. Would have covered this number in both games. I think they do it again here. I like the spot for Houston. I'm going to look towards laying the 5. And I'm also going to throw out to Martin Jordan. This is one leg of your money line parlay that you're looking for. Real quick, Taryn Long says, is Texas Tech money line versus UCF a good parlay piece? I'm not so sure. I have no interest in backing them right now. None. Zero. I don't know what's happened to them on defense. I really don't. And UCF is strong on defense. Always good under Johnny Dawkins. I like UCF. That's a tough basketball team. I'm not running to get interested in them right now. No. All right, next game. Big game of the day. Kentucky Gonzaga. I guess my question to people is, when you're looking at the Zags here, at what point have they beaten any good? They haven't beaten a good team this year. They have zero, a big fucking goose egg in quad 1 wins. They don't have any. They don't have any. Even in your conference, against teams like San Francisco, Santa Clara, St. Mary's, they haven't gotten the job done. Look, they beat up on, San Diego and Portland. But this ain't San Diego or Portland. This is a road game in Lexington against one of the most aggressive, efficient, offensive basketball teams in America. And it looks like DJ Wagner's back today. What gives here? Look, I think Gonzaga can score in this game because Kentucky's defense is bad. Here's how I feel like this game shakes out. And I know this total's high, 169.5. I can't bet the under in this game. I can't. I mean, Kentucky is a perfect over team. They don't stop anybody. They play egregiously fast. And they have 5 or 6 kids that can give you 15 points every game. Whether it's Rob Dillingham, Antonio Reeves, Reed Shepard, DJ Wagner, Trey Mitchell, the Croatian kid, Justin Edwards. I mean, they have kids everywhere. And I will tell you, Gonzaga will operate offensively here. They have some kids. I don't think they have a matchup, Kentucky, for Ike. Gonzaga, say what you want, still a good offense. I think this game is very NBA-like. So many shot makers, up and down. And we have seen Kentucky, anytime they have the ability to run, they do. Like, I don't think, look at the Georgia game, look at the Tennessee game. I think the Tennessee game is a good primer for what this game will be. I think it's a game played in the 90s. I really do. I'd be super surprised if this game is like 81-79. I just think we see up and down. And what we've seen in these types of games where you have top 10-ish teams playing, not the Gonzaga is a top 10 team, but they have the talent of a top 10 team, right? They have NBA caliber players. I think this one's really pleasing on the eyes offensively. I don't think Gonzaga is just not good. I think they struggled at the beginning of the year to just kind of turn their roster over. I think they will get to the NCAA tournament. I mean, it's hard to keep a group like them out. I think they have some positives possibly in this game, just with Kentucky's egregiously bad defense. We'll see. This is a really important game for Gonzaga. They don't have many opportunities for quad 1 wins. That said, they do have St. Mary's again. That game's on the road. I think the thing that we have to understand and keep in mind, for as tough as it's been at times for this team, they're still a top 25 offense. And that's the important thing here. So I'm moving on first half over 81. I think that's a great play as well. UK is very good in the first half this year. That's a great one. And that might be your best play here. I mean, this Shirley's what, 44, 40 and a half, 45, 41, you know? I want to read this comment here. I get Gonzaga's not very good, but I'm not running to the winner to lay 4 or 5 Kentucky either. Agreed. And that's why I like the over. Again, I saw this game defense, NBA like. Lucas R says they're missing Timmy incredibly. Well, listen, I mean, Timmy was there for so long. They're missing, Tommy Lloyd. That's more the issue. Tommy Lloyd was able to create a pipeline and get them great recruits year after year. And now what's happening? Those recruits that would have went to Gonzaga are now going to Arizona or UCLA or San Diego State or whoever. Now, they're still getting good players, but Gonzaga is getting transfer players now. They were getting the recruits, the Chet Holmgrens, the Jalen Suggs, the whoever. And they were able to, kind of like Kentucky, they were able to couple them together with 2 or 3 transfer players. They're not getting them anymore. I mean, there was a time where Gonzaga was getting top recruits. Jalen Suggs was a top recruit. Now, you look at this season, they're not getting top recruits. The top 60 next year, like you look at the top 60 coming in next year, Arizona is getting a top 20 recruit. He would have went to Gonzaga. But now that Tommy's at Arizona, he's going to go to Arizona. That's Arizona's got 2 top 35 kids coming in next year. I don't believe Gonzaga has one top 60 player coming in. As far at this point, I don't believe they have one signee in the top 60. That's why they're struggling. So, Michael Buena says, Gonzaga, LOL, Gonzaga is not going into Moraga and beating St. Mary's. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's hard to beat a team twice. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Dabby Cab, what's going on? All right, let me go through one more game here. So I like the over in this one. Let me go to one more game here. Arizona, Colorado. And look at this one. Do you guys remember the first game these two teams played? Arizona won by like 50. That said, it was in McHale, and Colorado didn't have 2 of their most important players. What does that mean? Well, that means that other people have to step up. They have huge things on their shoulders because they have to make up for the players that aren't there. When you are playing Arizona, you want your full complement of players. I was very impressed with Arizona the other night. It was a nice win against Utah. Again, 2 straight games on the road, this team has gotten the job done after struggling on the road for a while. They beat Oregon, then they went and beat Utah the other night. This is difficult, though. Now you got to go do it again 2 days later at Colorado, a place that they have lost at over the last year or two. Colorado's still very well coached. I've said on record before, I think this is one of the most underrated home courts in America. This is a really good building. This and Utah are really good buildings. I mean, you look at recently, they have been pulverizing teams at home. And this number screams Colorado. Revenge, at home, back-to-back road game. Colorado, baby. Buffs. What do they say out there? Buff up? I don't even know. The Fighting Deion Sanders. If you can find an issue that Colorado has, I'd like to see it. This team has been very good. Great at the line, which is what I want. Great from 3, which is what I want. Defensive rebound, which is what I want. Get to the free throw line, which is what I want. And everybody's back. Remember, they lost 97-50 the first time these two teams played. 97-50. They lost by 47. You don't think they remember that? I hate those stupid emotional things, but it's important. They're going to remember it. But I think on the court, they can match up here. Because remember, and I talked about this over the week when they played Utah. one of the reasons I liked Arizona in that game is because Utah doesn't run you off the three-point line. Utah's three-point defense sucks. And Arizona shot the ball average, 35%. They were lucky that they shot 11 more free throws. You look at Colorado, I think this is a way better defense, personally. I think this is a great spot. Colorado, get it done. Money line, Colorado money line. Let's do it. Billy Friedrich said, I just wanted 6.5. What? 6.5. I'm not sure how you came up with that number, but fair enough. I'll trust your numbers, I guess. Or you can trust your numbers. I don't think you're quantifying the home road stuff here. I would be curious how you got to that number. How would a home team be getting 6.5? I mean, Arizona's not the 97 Bulls, 96 Bulls. I don't know that I agree with that one. I'd like to hear your reasoning there. Do I have any opinion on the total? Seemed like first to 80 wins, but totals are tough. I'll continue to kind of venture that. Totals are very difficult. Didn't have much there. Should be a decent pace. Whenever I handicap a game, I kind of just focus on kind of where I'm at. It seems like first to 80 wins. Razor Sharp picks this money line for me as well. Let's get it. Yes, I like it. By the way, I saw you had VCU last night. Very nice call, my man. That's a great play by you. It's hard to bet against Dayton. But I'll tell you what, that was a really impressive performance by Virginia Commonwealth defensively. That's a tough home court, man. Very good team home court. Nice work. All right. Let's get into your questions. And I will offer you the opportunity at this point to ask any question you want to ask. Feel free to chop it up with me. You can go across the board. It doesn't matter. I'll try to give you my opinion on whatever game I can. Have some fun here. Justin McElvey says, my play of the day is Washington State. Well, good luck, my man. Washington State, they are on the road at Oregon. Again, I like Kyle Smith a lot. It's not a game I had much interest in. Kind of seems like a coin flip there. Again, and that number is signifying that, being that it's 3. So nothing for me on that one. I wish you luck. Absolute Lee says, my birthday was yesterday. Well, happy birthday, Absolute Lee. Hope you had a good one. He says, I'm going to the bar for Kansas Baylor. What do you think? Over or Kansas? So here's what I thought about this one. I leaned, look, it's hard to not bet Kansas here. They are so good at home. And I don't know if we've realized, if you look at the individual defenders that Baylor has, they're not good. Like Ray J. Dennis, I love the kid. I've met him. He's a great kid. I had dinner with him last year. Really good kid when he was at Toledo. He's a great player. And he's been terrific at Baylor. He's not the greatest defender in the world. And look, if you know anything about Toledo, not exactly a good defensive team. That is translated here. They just don't have really very good individual defenders. Johnny Furphy can really space the court now for them. Dickinson's been great on the block. I just don't think Baylor's very good on defense. And I think defensively, McCullough, Adams, I think that's a tough matchup for these guards. And Baylor has weirdly struggled at times offensively in conference. I'll tell you what I would do. I leaned on Kansas team total over. I think they get to 80 here. I think this is a really good matchup for them defensively. They're at home. I kind of thought about it, a double-digit victory for Kansas here. They have been just, and they're off a loss. I mean, this is a good spot for them, I feel like. Taryn Long, Nadu, thoughts on Butler against Providence? Two teams that I'm not real into. Butler has become just an up and down. We're going to score a bunch of points and we're not going to stop anybody. That's kind of how their games have shaked out recently. Then they were put to the ultimate, rock fight the other night against UConn, who just kind of went through the motions and still won by almost double digits. They really struggled over years against UConn. This is a pretty good spot. I can't get involved here because I don't know what Josh Oduru's status is. I know Oduru's questionable here. He's really important to Providence. Without Bryce Hopkins, they just don't have many offensive options. And if they don't have him, obviously I really lean Butler, but that line's telling me that maybe he's going to play. It's a tough one. Butler's good at Hinkle always. Look, I think like Ray J. Dennis, great offensive player. Same with Posh Alexander at Butler. I think you like his offensive prowess, but he's another guy that just plays no defense. Kind of a clash in styles too here. I think it's a tough game. I would avoid. Again, also, you don't know the status of Oduru. Billy Friedrich says, what do you think about UNC Asheville -4.5 at Upstate? I know Asheville just had a huge win against High Point, but they only have to lay 4.5 to Upstate. I like that line. Yeah, I actually had them this week against High Point. I thought that was a great spot for them. This, though, is a tough one. Letdown game at Upstate, who aren't good. And I'll tell you this, Upstate, while not good, they are going to put the ultimate brakes on you in this one. Upstate play really slow. It's akin to how High Point want to play. High Point, Asheville, they want to kind of push tempo, get up and down, use their efficiency to kind of beat you up. I think this is kind of a dangerous spot. I think Asheville will probably find a way, but I have a hard time. With this one. This is an Upstate team that, yes, is not good. But Upstate is a tough group to play against. And say what you want about Upstate. This is very interesting. In a conference that has High Point, Asheville, Winthrop, Longwood, this is a solid mid-major conference. Guess who's number one in two-point offense? Upstate. Shooting at over 57% from two. Impressive. I got to tell you, Friedrich, I lean the other way here. I think this reminds me a lot of Vermont the other night. Vermont had been rolling, playing real well, go on the road, take on New Jersey Institute of Technology. They grind the game to a halt and say, we want to play the game in the 60s, low 60s. We're just going to hope to hit more of another shot than you do. They got the job done. I'm not saying Upstate's going to win, but this is a tough spot. That's a very emotional game, Asheville, High Point. Probably the two best teams. Big win, close win. Now you got to go on the road to Upstate, who's just going to grind it to a halt. I like the other side. Personally. But good luck. Matthew Swanson says, what do you think about A&M +1? Wow, it's down 1.5. Well, look, I'm going to just tell you guys, I got this number at a way better price. So I didn't include it here. This does seem like a really tough spot for Tennessee. Tennessee is taking care of business a lot of the time in these games, but I think there's one way you can make it tough on Tennessee. You look at their two losses in conference, Mississippi State, South Carolina. What's the common theme between both of them? Walk the ball up the court, slow tempo, going to take you out of your game, not going to let you run in transition. Auburn does that as well. A&M, very good on the glass. Wade Taylor's terrific. This reminds you of that game against Kentucky. Remember when A&M won at home? That said, I'm just going to tell you, I bet this game last night. It's one of the first games I bet. At 1.5, I can't bet that personally. You guys, I will say this, Matt. I don't know that you're going to win consistently betting games at 1.5 when you could have got 4. Now, I think A&M probably finds a way here, but I just feel like for me, I would be sick to my stomach if A&M wins or loses by 2 or 3 here. That would sicken me. It would just sicken me. So I don't want to think about that. We may all lose and Tennessee may roll, but it's my opinion. But this is a good matchup for A&M. It really is. They're back healthy. Buzz is a great coach. I think Buzz is a better coach than Rick Barnes. I'll just say it. I think he has a plan today. I know he does. So definitely suits A&M here. Michael says, what do you think of TCU Iowa State? Why is TCU catching 8? Because TCU, like Baylor, is not good on defense, but I do think they'll be okay in this matchup. I just think TCU, again, another team that wants to run, and Iowa State, you're not getting out in transition. Iowa State plays a lot like Houston, a team in which TCU really struggled against. I think both these teams probably struggle offensively in this one. The last game, this is interesting. These two teams played back on January 20th. The game was 73-72. That was the final. Got the 145. Total is 144.5. I know because I had the under. Game was a stone cold under. Bullshit foul crap happens at the end. TCU hits a 3-ball, a meaningless 3-ball at the buzzer, and the game goes over by half a point. It was terrible. It was a brutal beat. Iowa State's tough as well in Hilton. Really tough. And they didn't have Taman Lindsay in that game. They have him in this game. So lean Iowa State there. Does Wisconsin bounce back today? I don't think. I don't want to hope they do. I think Wisconsin just – I was really perplexed the other night by that performance. I really was. I thought, well, you had a couple of tough games, but you should go in and beat Michigan, right? Wisconsin can't make and hit water in a boat right now. They just cannot hit three-point shots. I think they're 8 for 40 the last 2 games. Now you're going to go on the road and play Rutgers? Say what you want about that team. They're well coached. It's a tough place to play, and they're tough on defense. That's going to be a grinder, 10-year-ago Big Ten type game. I don't believe in them. If you do, good luck. I don't. Big T asked about Iowa State. We just talked about that one. We can take that one down. Tar Heels -3 against Miami. Strange line. Another game where you, Michael, are playing this at the worst price. Could have got 5.5 last night. 3. Again, another case of I like Miami, but you want to get your best price. That's the real important thing. I know it's not the end-all be-all, but I do think that long-term betting into the worst number, you'll lose. I like the over a bit here. I think Miami can score. Obviously, we know that offense has no issues. I don't think they're very good on defense, and I think they're really going to struggle with Baycott in this matchup. The Heels are kind of looking for that number 1 seed. I have a hard time betting against them. This does seem like kind of a scratch-your-head spot. Do they kind of struggle for once? We know Miami's kind of been embattled, but UNC's off of a home loss, which they don't normally have. I leaned over here. I think both teams probably are pretty efficient in this matchup. What do you think about Bradley laying 3.5 against Drake? Good spot for them. Do I think it's a good spot for them? I don't know. I mean, it should be a good one. I mean, that Drake goes on the road coming off a overtime loss and the Indiana State game too. Bradley, they are coming off a loss. 2 good teams. I always like Brian Wardell's teams. They're always really well coached. Bradley's are really good on offense this year, which is kind of a difference from them normally. Generally, they're very good on defense and struggle to score. Not so fast. This year, they've been good on both sides. This game last year was kind of your typical flip in conference. Both won a game, and then Drake beat them up in tournament time. So you obviously have some revenge here. This is essentially a pick-em, right? You're giving Bradley 3.5 for home court, but I don't really know if it's worth 3.5. I don't know. I think it's a decent spot. Surely for Bradley, it's not the best for Drake, but Drake, I think, can kind of find a way because they have the best player on the court in DeVries, who's been there like 10 years. But I would monitor his situation. I know he's kind of been beat up a little bit. So, but yeah, I think Bradley probably wins at home. But I've always been in the camp of I don't always give 3.5 points to home teams. Look, in the Power 5, sure. Okay. Like, you give me 3 points with Kansas, I don't even know if that's enough. I might need 5. That's a great home court. I don't know. This is a tough one for me. It's a pass. Again, talked about Iowa State. Winthrop and Longwood. Tough spot for Winthrop. Longwood's a good, well-coached team under Griff Aldrich. I kind of had that game kind of at a flip. I think it's a tough one. Winthrop's a good team, solidly coached. I don't know if it's the team that was under Kelsey. Still solid. 2 good teams that I like. I didn't have much to go on here. I think the number's about where it should be. You're not getting much value to me in this one. Michigan State against Illinois, the whole unranked teams versus ranked. Do I buy the system? It's not so much the system. It's just backing home teams. That's really how I look at it. This is a Michigan State team that is 6-6 in conference, really have not done much of anything that I think really blows you away. Did beat Baylor, but that was before Christmas. Every step-up game they essentially lost. You kind of need a big win. I mean, you look at what they've done in conference. I mean, is anything impressive? I thought they played really well in Champaign the first time, but that was without Terrence Shannon. That was when he was going through his off-the-court issue. But, yeah, I mean, if you're – do I want to lay 3? I think this is a good – they probably win, but I don't have much on this one. I mean, Illinois I love, and I love Shannon. He's back in the mix. Look, if you said to me, do you like Michigan State plus 1.5? Yes. Do I want to lay 2 possessions almost? No. What are your thoughts on Boise and Utah State? Yeah, listen, this number has kind of gotten out of hand, I think. I see a lot of people like the Aggies today at home. I get it. Great Osobor is really good. They kind of beat up Boise the first time. This number was 3.5. It's now 5.5. I think it's a little high to me. I really like Boise. I think this team is really good. I think this is one of the teams that's really gonna tough like a team like San Diego State. And look, Boise's been pretty solid on the road. Beat Fresno, tough place to play. Beat New Mexico. Went into Nevada and won. Went into San Jose and won. I love Max Rice. This is a good defensive team. And I think they get a little revenge on their minds. I thought 5.5 was too high, personally. Any thoughts on Creighton Xavier? I've told you guys before, I can't bet Creighton games. There's just too much 3-point variance. They make them, they can win by 20. If they don't, they can lose by 20. I also have not been real impressed with them on defense. I just don't think they're very good. I know a lot of people will think I'm crazy, but at what point do we just kind of say they are who they are? I know they beat Alabama. I get it. But at some point we have to kind of say to ourselves, I mean, how many times are they going to give up 78, 98, 87, 75 and say, like, all right, maybe they're not good on defense. Now you're in a weird position at Xavier. We know they're better at home. No interest in Creighton. None. Woo Kenny Woo's talking about Tennessee. Talked about that one. Good luck, man. I mean, Tennessee's good. We all know that. You're definitely betting at the best price. This number was 3.5, 4, last night. Again, I think this is a great spot for A&M. I actually don't agree with you on A&M. I think they're pretty impressive at home. I think they've been really good, actually. I think Wade Taylor is terrific, and they're great on the glass. Tennessee is not. I don't agree, but hey, you might be right. We could be all wrong here. What are your thoughts on Purdue against Indiana? Ware's banged up. Yeah, but I hear he's probably back today. That's a lot to lay in conference. I think if you like Indiana, just take the over. Like, why mess around with that? Purdue's going to score. I mean, you know that. You know they're going to get every call. They always get every call. I would more or less just take the over because, look, I could see that, 89-70 or something. And I feel like you're going to be much happier with an over in that spot as opposed to taking Indiana. Indiana's blowoutable, as they say, but they could surprise. Where could give them something. We know their defense isn't good, and we know Purdue can score. So, talked about Michigan State. How about South Florida at Rice? Yeah, South Florida's playing great. I mean, they've been one of kind of the surprises of the year. They've won just a ton of games. They're 9-1 in conference. They've lost one time, guys, since December 9th. That was at UAB. Really impressive. Listen, if I'm Michigan, I would hire Amir Abdur-Rahim. He would be my next hire. This guy is a fantastic coach. Fantastic. He was great at Kennesaw. He's been good at South Florida in his first year. They're going to challenge in this conference to win. It's that crazy. This is a good conference. Rice is surprised. We all know they beat Memphis, but we don't put a lot of stock because Memphis isn't good. I don't have much issue with this one. This seems like a really focused group right now in South Florida. They make shots. They've been good defensively. They don't turn it over. There's really nothing bad to say about them. Nothing. They're a little three-point heavy, so the concern is they get cold from three, but I think good teams like this find ways to win. This is another good parlay piece for Martin Johnson's 2-team or 3-team parlay. So we got Houston and we got South Florida, two old AAC foes. So there's two. We have to come up with one more for him. Any thoughts on Johnny's and Marquette? I don't know how to figure this one because in the first game, these teams were without players. I know that the Johnnies were dealing with some sicknesses. I believe Pitino didn't coach in that game due to having the C word. But now everybody seems to be back healthy. I think Sean Jones might still be out for Marquette. Johnnies I haven't been able to figure out. I thought they'd be much better this year. They've just been kind of inconsistent, I guess. And inconsistency against Marquette's never good. All right. What about Akron against James Madison? I don't have much on this one. Out of conference, random game. Kind of a clash in styles. Jam, you want to play faster. Akron want to slow it down. I love Freeman. I thought 6.5 was a bit high there. But with all the games, I'm not real interested in focusing on non-conference games. Easy says, what do you think about Chicago State today? For years, they've been fading them. This year, they've been covering. I think this is the first time they're a road favorite. Well, I generally wouldn't answer this question because I have no idea who they're playing, and I don't feel like looking it up. Okay, they're playing South Carolina State, who is in the MEAC, and Chicago State is an independent. Listen, man, here's what I'll tell you. If you have the wherewithal to be fading Chicago State, that's a smart idea, and it's worked for you. I mean, go with it. I don't really know what – I don't follow Chicago State. I don't care about their games. I don't bet on them. I think they've been better this year. I don't know what we take out of their recent performances. They beat something called East-West on January 19th. I guess they were playing if you remember the basketball episode of The Wire in season 1 when East Baltimore played West Baltimore, maybe they were playing those teams. They just combined them, and Prop Joe was on the sidelines coaching. You'll be the part, motherfucker. I don't know. I don't know what that win was, East-West, whatever that is. And then they played something called St. Xavier of Illinois. So I guess they went down the street and played the local Catholic school. Who knows? And then they went and played Duquesne, pretty good in that game. Yeah, I definitely think they're more backable this year, and Wesley Cardet is a really good player. Look, I guess I would probably lay the number. South Carolina State stinks, so. But yeah, not a game I'm uber focused on today. I'll put it that way. Do I have any thoughts on Florida against Auburn? It is a letdown spot. But I'll tell you this: Auburn is another one of those teams that are elite at taking you out of transition. You want to go up and down? We're not going to let you go up and down like South Carolina. I like the under a bit here. This was close for being a play to me. I was hoping to get 160s. I think it was 159. I like the under. I like the under a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if this is first to 75 wins. I don't know if I see an 84-80 type of game. I don't know if I see that. I think Auburn's really good on defense. I was impressed. However, I just want to say, I made recent comments that I think Auburn could be a bit fraudulent due to the fact of I just haven't been that impressed at all this year with them. They also shot 50 free throws against Alabama. How do you ever beat a team that shoots 50 free throws? I mean, that's just abhorrent. That's abhorrently bad. Just crazy. Just crazy. I can't I can't get involved with Auburn right now. I'm just not interested. Okay. I want to do one quick thing, and I want to check in on a couple of soccer plays that I have. I hit earlier with Ipswich and West Bromwich Albion, both teams to score. That's a win. Blackburn Rovers and Stoke. That's a win. Leicester City over 1.5. That's a win. So I went 3-0 today in the championship. I'm telling you guys. Listen, I'm a 5-tool player, boys. Listen, say what you want about me. You don't fucking like me. I don't care. Whatever. You like me, you don't like me, whatever. However, I love to gamble. I gamble on everything. I do my strengths. Who the fuck bets England championship? I do. Who the hell bets Serie A? I do. Who the hell bets certain things? I do. I'm a well-rounded gambler, and I always have the time to look into soccer. Nice 3-0 day in the championship. Now, I want to see what's going on with Peterborough United, who play Wycombe Wanderers. They're struggling today. I don't know what's going on with this offense. This is one of the best teams going forward in League One. Wycombe is not good. Peterborough only has one shot on goal. Very odd performance. Going to need a major rebound. However, I'm happy with 3-1 today, to be fair. Nice. Josh Koval says, shout out to Nadu for the West Bromwich Albion. Both teams have scored. No problem. Would you mind talking Seton Hall and Villanova, even though it's tomorrow? Sorry, my man. There's too many games. I'm going to kind of focus on today. I'll get to that tomorrow. Reach out to me. I'll see what I can do. But I lean under, but I haven't looked at it. What do you think about Mississippi State against Mizzou? Mizzou is a disaster right now. Fucking disaster. That said, State's on the road here. Under. Mizzou stinks. It stinks. Mississippi State is ungodly slow and good defensively. What do you think about Clemson and Syracuse? Seems like a great spot for the Orange. Clemson coming off a huge road win. Now you're going to go to lowly Syracuse, who players are leaving the team. Coach is calling them out. I kind of lean Orange there. Lucas R says Peterborough, ? What about him? We just mentioned Peterborough. James Parm says, for the 5th time, can I get some feedback? James Parm, for the 5th time, we already talked about it. Turn your fucking volume up. Listen, James, please don't come in here and demand we do things when we already did them. I don't mean to scold you, but don't come in here with caps and demands when we already did it. James, turn your volume up, brother. We're already been there, done that. And don't come at me, James. You are the one that typed in caps. You elicited that response. So for the 5th time, we already talked about it. I actually remember discussing that Wisconsin is horrible offensively right now. They can't make shots. Horrible offensively, yeah. Respect Nadu. Most gamblers have abrasive personalities. I don't have an abrasive personality. Well, actually, I do. I just don't take to demands. Don't come in our show and demand things. We are very united here, boys and girls. We talk about all sorts of games. But, it's like, don't come in here and just demand shit, especially when we already did it. There's 250 plus people throwing questions at him, shaking my head. Yeah, well, and there he is again. Damn, bro, and ignore. That is so. Who the hell are you? It's our show. We don't pick and choose who we want to talk to. That said, we did it already. James, I don't advise using Q-tips. I think it's very bad for your ears. Honestly, it's really bad. I would not advise doing it. But you got to get your ears cleaned out because I don't know if they work completely well. Maybe you go to the doctor. Ear doctor, ear, nose, and throat. Check it out, maybe. Official Straker says, great show. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Daniel. Appreciate that. Do I have any thoughts on Butler Providence? Talked about that one already. Lean staying away. Yeah, Martin, already mentioned I would have thrown South Florida in there. We'll tell you, though. We have a few more minutes here. We'll get another team here. And so we will get to the Super Bowl in 1 second. Bear with me one moment. I just want to kind of scan one more time. Went over a bunch of games here today. Do I have any thoughts on Arkansas hosting Georgia? I don't know who's playing for Arkansas. And that's where my issue is there. I liked Arkansas in the game, but they have had all sorts of players out recently. Wiggins World says, can we stop pretending Creighton is good? No, I stopped pretending they were good a long time ago. And I'm glad to see you, Wiggins World, are on the same side. Do I have any thoughts on Leverkusen, Bayern Munich? No, I don't really bet Bundesliga. Let me go one or two more here, and then we will Super Bowl, and we'll get out of here. Be Smooth, what's going on, brother? Nasty Nate says, Lucas, have you been day drinking again? What is he saying? Dumb shit? Okay. Maybe he is. I don't know. Duquesne St. Bonnie's under 139.5. Yeah, those totals in that conference are always around 140. Duquesne's been playing a lot of low-scoring games lately. Bonnie, I believe, are on the road here. Not always a good back there. All right, let me get to thoughts on the Super Bowl here. Jeff, don't take any shit. No, we're not taking shit. I mean, we're just trying to kind of convey to this individual that we talked about the game already. Nasty Nate says Providence wins. Well, remember, he is a fan. I will say, I think if Oduru plays, I would play them +4. So I agree on that sentiment that they probably challenge to win. Okay, Super Bowl. So look, I'm just going to say it. I had a hard time understanding why the 49ers were the favorite in this game. Really. I'm just being real. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I don't think they've looked particularly good in the playoffs. I think defensively they look pretty average. Has Brock Purdy played well against any good team this year? I think 9 of his 11 interceptions were in a total of 4 games against really good defenses. I think the issue you have here, first of which, is Kansas City Chiefs have way better coaches than the Niners, in my opinion. Spagnuolo's terrific, and we know how good Andy Reid is. Look, I get they have some glitzy glam with Debo and Christian McCaffrey, and I think they'll get theirs. I do. But if you're going to give me points with Mahomes, the better defense, at least to me, again, I'm trying to understand why the 49ers are the favorite. Why? I mean, I know Kansas City doesn't have Tyreek Hill, but they still have some dogs. I mean, Kelsey's the best player skill position-wise in this game. Rashee Rice has been awesome. Scantling's been very solid. Pacheco's terrific. Why the fuck are the Niners favorites? I don't get it. Throw in the fact that Mahomes is 10-1 as a dog. We all know that. Throw in the fact that if he wins the Super Bowl, he will do it yet again in the toughest of situations. We have to also understand, and I know people don't want to hear this because they all of a sudden hate Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is on the trajectory to be the greatest quarterback ever someday. Okay, this would be Super Bowl number 3, in Super Bowl appearance number 4, and he's only 28. He has 10 years to go, probably. Tom Brady went to 10 Super Bowls and won 8. I know we don't want to do it because we all hate his family, even though it has no bearing on who he is as a football player. But the guy's terrific. Has this been his most amazing season yet? No, not statistically, but with what he has had compared to other years, this is super impressive. This guy's terrific. He's unbelievable. I know people don't like him, but he's fantastic. I think Pacheco is going to do his thing. I think Kelsey will do his thing. I didn't understand why the Kansas City Chiefs were dogs, personally. So I think they win. There's some 2.5s out there. I would probably play that. Go with it. Do I think this is an incredibly strong game to bet on? No. Two good teams. No one will argue with that. I also believe 9 of the last 10 games that have been listed in the 40s have went over the total. 47.5 is pretty fair number, I thought here. Around 48. I think this could be 24-21. But I could also see where it's 27-24. I think the total is strong. I think that's a good number on this game. I like the Chiefs here, so I'm gonna rock with that. As far as props, I think Kelsey to score touchdowns a great one. We have to look at the whole Taylor Swift thing. Also, he's super good in the red zone. We know they always look to him in the playoffs in the red zone. He's going to get a bunch of targets in this game. I feel like that was a good one. I also have been kind of fearlessly tracking the whole Taylor Swift shown how many times thing. From what I've heard, the number is at 8. That can't be true. If the number is 8, I think you must go under. 8 times during the game? Now understand the rules. During game means when the ball is kicked off and gameplay. Doesn't include halftime, doesn't include previous, before the game, doesn't include after the game. It includes game broadcast. Why the fuck would she be shown 9 times? I might understand 2 or 3, maybe 4, but 8? That can't be the number. Does anyone have a number on that? I've had a hard time finding it. I don't even know if it's offered. I think one of those goofy props would be, will we see Kelsey and Taylor Swift at any point on February 11th kiss? I think that's a great one. Because I think the Chiefs are going to win. And I think in that case, every fucking photographer on the planet and every camera on the planet will be looking to her walking up to him and kissing the Super Bowl champion. That is a great bet to me. And again, it's a better price than the money line. The money line is plus 110. That play is plus 140. You're getting an extra 30 cents on something that is definitely going to happen. Remember the rules to that one as well. On February 11th, so that covers after the game, before the game, during the game. I'm not that they're going to kiss during the game, but if we see them embrace at any point, which it'd be likely after the game, I guarantee you, every fucking camera in that building will be focused on her getting onto the field and kissing her new beau. That's what they call a magic moment. That's what they call a... Remember that photo after World War II when all the soldiers came home and they got that guy, the soldier, kissing the woman at Times Square, wherever the hell that was? That's that moment. Believe it. So go on Bet Online right now. Now, again, this is why this is plus 140. It is very dependent on the Chiefs winning. Because if Kelsey and the Chiefs lose, he's not leaving the field. We're not going to see them kiss. We could, though. You never know. They're that obsessed over the group, so maybe. Wouldn't that be wild if they still, even if they lose, they still kiss Kelsey and Swift kissing? Crazy. I think that's a decent play. It's a secret play. You got to go to Bet Online to find it. Daryl Lyles. Put Daryl Lyles' comment on the screen. Holy shit, I forgot. Love is in the air, folks. Good point, Daryl Lyles. Wow. Daryl Lyles come into play. Sam Gazelle says, I thought she's on tour in Japan. She is. She plays tonight, which it's essentially happening right now. She is then getting on a plane and going to Vegas. So she'll be there. Come on, Sam Gazelle. She's a billionaire. You don't think she's going to get right on a plane and come? she'll be there. Don't worry, pal. And if she's not there, the bet graded as a push. So I don't care. She'll be there. She'll be there. Yeah, Ronnie, listen, guys, I get you guys don't like celebrities. I'm not a Taylor Swift guy. I think it's brutal. But, stop with this stupid comment. She's a beautiful girl. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, what are we talking about here? I mean, some of you guys, and look, Ronnie, I don't know what you look like. I'm not going to comment on your looks, but, I mean, are we being serious? Ronnie acts like if Taylor Swift didn't knock on his door, he wouldn't invite her in. Come on. Get it. Cut yourself up. Cut yourself off, please. Stop drinking today. All right? Give me a break. You got to love these people. And I love Ronnie. He seems like a nice guy, but come on. Cut it out. Ronnie, if Taylor Swift lived across the street from you, you would be aimlessly trying to see what she's up to every day. Come on. Stop. 4-0, Peter Bruno. Boom. Come on. Who? Come on, guys. Come on. 4-0, motherfuckers. 4-0. 4-0 on the pitch today. That's what we're talking about, baby. Listen, get with it or get lost, boys. 4-0, and it's not the Premier League. It's not the Premier League. Andrew Calodro Muscarel says, do you mind reading that comment? Usually you're a complete jerk-off. I've seen you before. You threatened me many times, but just because you asked nicely, I will read it. Though you are a loser a lot of the time. If the NFL was really scripted, why didn't Peyton Manning end his career with the amount of Super Bowls that Brady has? He was the media's darling. Yeah, I don't know if anyone said it was scripted. But that was the big comment? I thought it was actually going to be way better than that. Wait, so you go back to Peyton Manning? I don't know. I mean, scripted? I don't know if anyone said it was scripted. I think we just said that you're going to show Taylor Swift a lot, which they do. I don't think that anything scripted. Groovy Cap says, I am a P star. Really? Joseph Gomez says I look like a white cheese ball. Okay. Well, I don't comment on other people's looks, especially men. Kind of a weird tendency by you, Joseph, isn't it? Interesting. Nothing better than faceless, anonymous profiles. Gotta love big men. What up, Trap God? Shout out to you, brother. Groovy Cap says Guadalajara Chivas today, -170, Mexican League. So you like Guadalajara. Shout out to Jalisco. I love that. Good shit. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. We need one more play for our friend, Mr. Martin. So we got Houston, South Florida, and guess what? We're going to have some fun. Colorado is your other play. Money line. I don't care if they're a dog. Money line. So we got, for his 3-team money line parlay, he asks us about this every week. Houston, South Florida, Colorado, Skull Buffalo. Skull Buffalo. Okay, Andrew Calodra says, I apologize for being a POS. All right, very good. Thank you. Appreciate your apology, my man. Appreciate your apology, my man. Very nice start to the day. I'm glad to have 4-0. I love it. I love it. I love it. I didn't realize how good you are with soccer plays. They're a must-tell. Thank you, UCME. I try. Don't win every game, but I try to put you on. And I will, folks, have a soccer play later, 2:45 Eastern time. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, @JeffNadeau. Before we go, I want to talk about Pubapalooza, which is coming up. And I urge you guys, if you're a fan of Pub Sports Radio, you like the community here, you enjoy what everybody's doing at Pub Sports Radio, you come down to San Antonio between March 22nd and March 24th. You can come anytime. San Antonio, Texas, first weekend in the NCAA tournament. We got a big party going on, Pub Sports Radio. All the folks are going to be coming in, commenters, content creators. I know Razor Sharp Picks is going to be there. Jimmy the Bag will be there. I'm sure Ian Cameron will be there. All sorts of people will be there. I don't know if any special guests will be there. I'm planning on being there. So all you fucking tough guys in the chat, I'll be there. I'm just kidding. Not going to be any fights, but I'll be there to have some fun and to opine with all of you. Maybe we'll do some of these to start the day with the tournament. I'm looking forward to being there. I'm actually probably going to get in on Wednesday. I'm probably going to be there for a while. I'm going to kind of nestle in and hang. Maybe try to get to a Spurs game. Not that they're any good, but that's that. I love Pub Sports Radio. I love Southtown 101. I believe they have one of the best burgers on the planet. I mean that. So if you live near Texas, you live in the area, why don't you catch a flight down? Come hang out. I'll be there. I'll be there. So yeah, that'll be fun. All right, I'm out of here. And if you want more information on the Pubapalooza, go check out Pub Search Radio. Go check out everybody, Jose and all those guys. I'm sure they'll give you more information on that. All right, I'm out of here. You guys all enjoy your day. I hope you have a great Saturday. I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoy your evening. And I hope you cash your tickets. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy the games. For me, 5 plays today. I went over them. Samford, I laid the number there against Virginia Military. I like Green Bay +10 against Youngstown. I like Houston -5 against Cincy. I like Gonzaga, Kentucky over 168.5. And I like the Colorado Buffaloes. Yo, Buffaloes. Let's do it. All right. See you guys. Take it easy.